Gentlemen and ladies, I need to stop assuming everybody who watches my videos is just men, but we need to talk about something as it's starting to rain right now. I always thought if you guys could swing the performance package, you probably should just get it. Now I know the conversation usually around performance pack on these Mustangs is the juice really worth the squeeze? Like, do I want to spend the $5,500 or do I just want to save the money because I don't really see a whole lot of value in what the performance pack comes with? And I've always been of the mindset that if you can spend the $5,500, you probably should just get the performance pack. Like, kind of why not, okay? You're gonna live with the car. You might as well try to get everything that you can have. But recently, okay, I've changed my mind on that. And I don't think that's true any longer. So let's get into it. So let's start with what the performance pack comes with and then the cost of it, okay? Now I'm gonna try to do this in one take. I was trying to memorize this while looking at my phone, so let's see how well we do. So the performance pack comes with upgraded wheels. They're 9 inches in the front, 9.5 in the rear, and they're 19 inches in diameter. Whoops, already missed my one take. But it also comes with a performance strut brace in the front, beefier front springs, a K-member, an electronic drift brake, which you can also see in the rear, a torsion differential, and then there's kind of a whole host of different visual mods around the outside of the car. So you get the performance pack wing, you get a little bit different splitter in the front. That's long gone by now, but an ebony painted front grille. Now there's also some different chassis tuning. There's a little bit different ABS tuning that comes with the performance pack on these cars that also includes larger sway bars. But overall, that's everything that comes with the performance pack. I tried so hard to do that in one take. Definitely didn't get that. There's gonna be like 14 cuts in that. Okay, so let's talk about why I don't actually think the performance pack is a really good idea for a lot of you guys out there. I'm learning with this car, everything I've done to it, everything I wanna do to it. I wish I didn't get the performance pack. I actually have a little bit of regret with that. And I don't really regret it on the side of things like, yeah, there's a lot that I just don't see value. I've removed some things that come with the performance pack that I just don't need. It's actually that the performance pack has some pretty significant issues if you guys are gonna go boost, okay? That has been my experience with this car so far. When I got it, immediately went Whippled within 2,000 miles. And there's a lot of things that come with the Whipple, okay, that you're gonna wanna have to do down the road. Most of it's gonna be traction related. But first, let me tell you guys the things that I've removed that the performance pack comes with. The front strut brace, okay? With a Whipple, that doesn't fit anymore, so that's that. Now there is a VMP carbon fiber strut tower brace that you can buy. I may get it, I don't know. It's more of a visual thing. I think these chassis are already pretty rigid enough. I've never seen anybody have any issues with like twisting the chassis or anything. So I don't think it's incredibly needed, especially if you're gonna go with a Whipple on these cars, you're probably just doing straight line stuff where chassis rigidity in a kind of a turning car, a car that you're gonna track, isn't really all that important. So that got removed pretty quickly. Also, the front splitter, not a huge deal here. The performance pack comes with like a barely larger front splitter than the normal Mustangs, but that got removed. Immediately put the MP Concepts front splitter on. I probably did that less than 300 miles of owning the car. And then also what I removed are the springs. The heavier duty, beefier front springs that come with the performance pack, those got ejected into oblivion, okay? Because we lowered the car. If you're not new to my channel, Mustangs need to be lowered. So I have lowered all my Mustangs. They just look so much better. They sit way too high from the factory. So we got the front springs out of there. Now let's talk about the things with the performance pack that I think are just a problem, like a serious and genuine problem. The drift brake. Nobody's gonna use it. This was like probably the thing that kind of swayed me the most to get the performance pack, is I really thought the idea of a drift brake is gonna be so cool to have. And I guess it is, but you're never gonna use it. I've never used it. I figured maybe I'm gonna take it to a parking lot here and there and, you know, get it sideways with the drift brake. I don't do that. I don't wanna mistreat the car that badly, and that is pretty highly illegal. Nobody's gonna really drift these cars. These are not the cars that people who are getting into the drift scene are gonna buy, okay? The people who are actually gonna drift a car are gonna definitely buy a cheaper, probably 240SX or a 350, because what else do you buy when you're getting into the drift scene? You're gonna buy something like that, you're gonna install a hydro brake yourself, and you're just gonna rip it from there. The drift brake in these cars, the more I have it, the more I realize it's such a pointless thing that they put on. You're just never gonna use it. I certainly don't. I played with it maybe one time, and since then, all I use it for is just a functional electronic e-brake. Now, I guess it does look a little bit cooler inside the car. I think it's definitely better than like the tiny little switch that would be used to actuate the electronic e-brake, but other than that, other than bringing the aesthetic vibes up in the car, it doesn't really do anything. Now, let me talk to you about why it's a big problem. In the rear, there's two issues. The performance pack comes with upgraded brakes. There's 6 pistons in the front, and then there's 4 pistons in the rear. And they are very capable brakes, don't get me wrong, but they're definitely on the overkill side for like typical road driving. The 6 pistons in the front are perfectly fine. Those don't need to go at all. I think they're fantastic. But the 4 pistons in the rear, they're kind of a problem. And then also, you can see there's a drift brake caliper in the rear that's mounted on the other side of the brake disc. Now, if you guys are going boost, you're gonna want more grip. And I've talked about this before, and this is part of the reason why I can't really decide what I wanna do for a street tire setup. I really, really would like to go with a drag pack, but the problem with these performance pack brakes, okay, is that with the 4 piston calipers in the rear, you cannot fit anything smaller than an 18-inch rear. And these wheels are already 19 inches. So 19 inches, 18 inches, there's not really a meaningful difference there, okay? 17 inches is kind of the sweet spot for a rear drag pack. 18 inches would be an improvement, but 17 inches, that's really where you get the most bang for your buck, where you get a lot more grip, and there's a meaningful size difference between the 19s that come with the car and then the 17 welds that you throw on so that you can drag your friend's NA Camaro in. Now, something I've considered though with these brakes and with the whole brake package in the rear is downgrading. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, and it kind of is, okay? I feel crazy for even considering it, but I really, really wanted to do a 17-inch drag pack. Now, what I thought you could do is you could just pull off the current calipers and the current brake discs and put on just the stock single piston, smaller brake discs that you get with the more baseline Mustang GTs. That's not really possible. I think you have to do the entire bracketry that holds both the calipers on, the drift brake and the typical rear brake. And then I think you also have to do like the lower control arm. Either way, it's not really a feasible upgrade. It's super, super expensive, and I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. So if you guys go with the drag pack on these cars, you're stuck at 18 inches. And I think that's pretty unfortunate. And that's why I'm like really split on what I want to do. Do I really want to spend the money on a drag pack, or should I just get a wider 19-inch wheel and just run a street setup with a better tire? But that right there is my biggest reason why I wish I didn't go with the performance pack. And when I was deciding, should I get a performance pack or not? Like, what I was doing is I was like scouring the internet. I was on all the Mustang 7 forums, I was on some Facebook pages, and just trying to see what people were saying. And most of the answers I were getting were pretty wish-washy, okay? Some people were saying like, you know what, I don't think it's really worth the $5,500. And then some people are like, well, if you're gonna have this Mustang for a long time, if you're planning on keeping it for a while, you probably should just get kind of everything that you want, okay? You're gonna live with the car, just spend the extra money and get the features that you may not need, but at least you have them if they're there. And now I wanna be a little bit better than that. I wanna give you guys super direct answers. That's one thing I've really tried to strive for in my channel, is not to do a lot of wish-washy stuff with you guys. I wanna be super direct. If you guys are boosting your car, do not get the performance pack. I know it sounds really hardline, but it's gonna be a hindrance. A lot of the stuff that comes with it, you're gonna get rid of anyways. And not only is it just like there's no value, I think there's actually anti-value with it. Again, the biggest issue being with the entire rear brake setup. You can't go to a 17-inch drag pack. You can't really swap out the entire bracketry of the car. I've never found kits that you can do that yet, at least with these S650 Mustangs. And for piecing everything together, it was like becoming like a $5,000 or $6,000 project. And I don't think spending $6,000 after you've already spent 5 figures boosting your car is really worth it just to fit a wheel that's only 1 inch smaller. So that is the biggest issue with the performance pack. Now, let me give you guys a scenario where I think the performance pack makes sense, okay? Basically any scenario where we're keeping the car NA, all right? If you guys are NA, you're never really gonna need a drag pack, okay? We're not like those Chevy guys. Now I know every time a Camaro owner chirps first to second on a cold winter day, they throw a drag pack on their car. We're not like them, we're a little bit better. You don't need to go with a drag pack in any scenario if you guys are keeping the car NA, unless you're going like super crazy, insane weight stripping, getting in the car below 3,000 pounds, and you're just going for like a full max effort, heads, cams, porting on the cylinder heads, like a whole crazy build. Maybe you want a drag pack, but like 99% of the people that are gonna just keep the car NA, I think the performance pack makes sense, okay? Now, if you're tracking the car, like road tracking the car, definitely get the performance pack. The suspension upgrades, the brake upgrades, and the strap tower brace definitely make it worth it. And I'm gonna give you guys a wishy-washy answer. As I just said, hey, I don't wanna do wishy-washy answers, but if you guys are truly gonna keep the car NA and you know you're never gonna upgrade the power in a boosted scenario, and you're kind of debating, should I go with the performance pack or should I not go with it? I do kind of lean towards the side, like, if you're gonna have the car for a while, just kind of get it. Now I know $5,500, that's a lot of money to spend. Whenever you're like building out and pricing out a car, $5,500 doesn't seem crazy, but think about going to the store and buying a $5,500 product. That's a lot of money. So to put that into a car, I think requires a lot of thought. And I think maybe if you are gonna have the car for a really long time, it could be worth it. But again, I'm gonna repeat this. If you guys are boosting your S650 Mustang, do not go with the performance pack. You're gonna run into issues. There's gonna be a lot of hindrances that come down the road when it comes to fighting for traction, that the performance pack is just gonna be a big, massive problem. So that's what I've learned with this S650 Mustang so far. I love sharing what I've learned, my thoughts and everything when it comes to my journey with this. And as you guys know, I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video. If you guys are new to my channel, this is a stage 2 Whippled Gen 4 Coyote on a 3.625 pulley, E30 blend, and then we're on stainless power or catted headers. Rob Shoemaker tuned. MBRP full catback exhaust with a race profile and an MGW short throw shifter. Okay, that was some on list in terms of performance, but hopefully this helps you guys. I see a lot of videos out there where it's like, oh, the performance pack changes the car. It makes it like so much more of a Mustang. I don't really find that true. I had an S550 before this. It was a non-performance pack car. It felt so similar in almost every single way. Now, obviously this one being a supercharged car and my S550 being a full bolt-on car, there's quite a big difference there, but I just don't think the performance pack is really all it's caked up to be. I think there's definitely some value in it for some buyers, but like I said, if you're going boost, avoid it. Well, all right guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I really hope this helped you guys. Again, I know when you're looking at these cars and kind of planning what you wanna do, there's a lot of different options and things and choices that you can pick. I'm hoping this narrowed it down a little bit better for you guys, especially if you guys have a pretty clear route on what you're gonna go with on this car, whether you're gonna go NA or you are gonna boost it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. One last thing for you guys. I wanna rate your guys' cars and answer your guys' questions, okay? So above me, I'm put my email. It actually might show up over here, wherever it is in the frame. That's my email. Email me pictures of your car, questions you have about Mustangs, and I wanna do some videos answering those and critiquing your guys' cars. And when I say critiquing, I mean absolutely flaming. I'm not gonna flame anybody's car, but I wanna do more of a long form kind of video where I talk about my thoughts with other people's Mustangs, because I love giving my unsolicited opinions on the internet. It's my favorite thing. This is gonna be the most painful editing video ever. God, sometimes I just make these videos and I feel like they're just gonna be the worst ever. Hopefully that's not this one.